majestic purple mountain, Pikes Peak. Today I'm going to tell you all about this amazing landmark of Colorado. Pikes Peak is a 14ers mountain. This means it's a mountain that exceeds 14,000 feet high. There are 54 such mountains, and most of them are all in Colorado. 3 of the tallest are Mount Elbert, Longs Peak, and Pikes Peak, which is my favorite. This mountain reaches 14,110 feet tall. That's a shockingly tall mountain. Now I'm going to tell you a little history. Pikes Peak was first sighted by a man named Zebulon Pike. He was on an expedition passing through Colorado when he sighted this huge snowy mountain. In his journals, he called it the Great Mountain, but it was later named after him, Pikes Peak. Believe it or not, Zebulon Pike wasn't the first to climb Pikes Peak. He tried to, but he had sighted it in the snowy months, and there was just too much snow to get to the top. A young man named Edwin James first made it to the summit. Also, a woman named Julia Archibald Holmes became famous for being the first woman to climb a 14er. Some interesting things about Pikes Peak today is that there's only basically 3 ways to climb it. A long hike, a very twisted drive up the mountain, or you can take the Cog Railway. A Cog Railway is a special type of train that has different gear that meshes into the track to keep it from slipping, and so it can climb up taller hills than a regular train. I have rode this little red cog as it trudged up the mountain through the trees and snow, working its way up to the tippity top of the mountain. This train goes fairly slow though. It can only get up to 9 miles an hour, or it could slip off the track, and that would not be good when you're climbing up a mountain. I have been to the top of Pikes Peak 2 times, and each was new and wonderful. The first time I went with a school group. We all anxiously waited for the red cog, and soon it popped into the station. We climbed in, and it slowly started working its way up the mountain. 3 hours later, thanks to the slowness of its speed, we climbed out of the cog to see a blanket of clouds below surrounding the mountain. We couldn't see much of the land, but it was cool being above the clouds for once. On the mountain there was piles of snow to make room for the cog train, and plopped right on the top of the mountain was a gift shop that sold all kinds of things. It was the most amazing trip I had ever had, so we had to do it again. This time my family and I drove up the winding road for 2 hours. Despite the warm weather on the bottom of the mountain, it was freezing on top. But it was well worth it. The view was amazing. There was plains as far as the eye can see, and small cities dotting the landscape. We saw the city where we lived, and a city way over here on the ground. It took 2 hours to drive between them. It was almost like being up in an airplane where you could see all the different colors of the land. There was also a very far, flat place way out in the distance that my mom thought could have been Kansas way out there. That's how far you could see. One thing I love about it is that they have a plaque up at the top that has America the Beautiful written on it. I bet you didn't know that Catherine Lee Bates wrote the song inspired by the view from the top of Pikes Peak. The amber waves of grain she talks about are the golden grass that grows in Colorado. The purple mountain majesties are Colorado mountains. When I lived in Colorado Springs, we could see Pikes Peak from our house. I loved taking pictures of it and drawing it during the different seasons. That's a view from our house. Well, as you can see, Colorado